And welcome to Political Quickie, your political show that subjectively discusses political headlines in South Africa and all around the world. My name is Mapasika Mura. The EFF's bid to unseat Jacob Zuma continues. This time around, they took the issue to the Constitutional Court, and they want to compel the Speaker to establish an ad hoc committee to look into Jacob Zuma's hand in terms of that whole Nkandla saga. Now, any MP can, ask the Speaker to establish an ad hoc committee, for any issue. The EFF did this last year on 3 different occasions where they asked for an inquiry into the whole Nkandla issue and, whether or how, rather, Jacob Zuma had a hand in that. And it was refused on all those 3 different occasions. And so they've seen fit that they take it to the Constitutional Court, and they compel her to establish this ad hoc committee with the hope of then holding an impeachment vote. So this is actually quite interesting, and you guys might be wondering, why don't they just go to the Constitutional Court and have the Constitutional Court order an impeachment? But see, this is all about that principle that we spoke about last season. Trust politica, about how it's important to have a separation of powers, right? So as much as these different arms of government need to perform checks and balances on each other, and this is something which Chief Justice Mogoeng was saying, that it's also important to uphold a separation of power, that they are different arms, and we can't just jump into what the other guy is doing and in the same breath just tell them what to do. A lot of people have been saying that this is in a certain way kind of sort of messing with our democracy if Jacob Zuma is impeached, because the people have spoken and they voted that they wanted a certain group of people to lead them, and so in the middle of that situation you can't just then decide no, be gone. But at the same time, justice matters. Justice does matter, and when there's corruption and these kind of issues that we're facing right now, then isn't democracy what the people want right now? And I get that structure is essential and political processes are important, but isn't the will of the people what's even more important than that? I know, something to think about, something to mentally munch on, I guess. Yes. Moving right along, it seems that motions of no confidence are just being passed around everywhere. The DA at Nelson Mandela Bay has passed a motion of no confidence against Mongameli Bobani, who was the deputy mayor and was part of the UDM. You'll remember that they formed a coalition government called Nelson Mandela Bay, the DA, UDM, and other minority parties. And so now this guy, according to the DA, he is corrupt, and that's why they got rid of him. But in the same breath, the UDM is saying, this is not even politically motivated. There is a personal vendetta going on. Interesting times go Nelson Mandela Bay. But also, something that's happening right here in Johannesburg is that the ANC wants to pass a motion of no confidence, against Mayor Herman Mashaba, as well as the Speaker of Vasco da Gama. Isn't that such a, historical name, Vasco da Gama? Sounds very historical. But anyways, yeah. Sounds very historical. Yeah. So, it's crazy, and I'm beginning to see what people mean when they say these motions of no confidence are kind of sort of messing with our democracy. If we do have a democracy, literally speaking, if we do have a democracy, Yeah. So in the sense that, if I don't like you, I can just, cook up a story and then be like, motion of no confidence, and just pass it against you. So it's it is a bit crazy and a bit odd how these motions are just, being tossed around in the air like they are nothing, or like grapes, like, you know what I'm saying. So it's just something to consider and to think about. Like, it's these motions of no confidence are nothing to play with. So let's not play with these motions of no confidence. And really think about when different people have elected you and you are a diverse government of different political parties. The one thing to remember is that you're not there to represent your political party, but you're there as an official and as someone that we voted for. So before you are blue, before you are red, before you are green and yellow and whatever, just think about the interests of the people. And that's what I always thought politics is about until until yes. Moving right along, however, to international news. News orkant. The head of NATO, Jens Stoltenberg, right, yes. The guy's very concerned. NATO being North Atlantic Treaty Organization. He is concerned about the state of safety of the world today. He even went to the length of saying that these times, this period that we are living in, is actually the most dangerous in a whole generation. It's the most dangerous time to live in. Referencing Russia and its assertiveness, and North Korea and its missile tests, as well as just terrorism as a whole. Which, he's right. All these things are super hectic, and they are playing a detrimental role on our safety. But at the same time, I feel like all these big organizations and they concern in terms of our safety, it just seems like the more concerned the more concerned the more concerned they are, the more it just seems like the answer to the problem is just to diminish our human rights. I don't know if you guys have seen this movie, The Circle, starring Emma Watson. And the purpose of the movie is to show that, if there's more surveillance on us, like literally 24/7, if privacy is taken away and you are watched, then you behave like a better person. You behave like a much better human being. And that just makes you think that the more terrorism and all these other things are happening, the more it is just common sense to take away our human rights, our right to privacy, and our right to life, where the US or Russia can just bomb Aleppo because there are terrorists there, and millions of people die in that process. So it's crazy how our human rights, which are enshrined in the Bill of Rights, are just being taken away just like that, and all in the name of protecting us, all in the name of keeping us safe. And that's just something to think about, and it's something really, really crazy. Yeah. But anyways, moving right along to on the side note today, our lucky word is failure. Yeah, failure. Yes, that word. Someone once said, the word fail stands for first attempt in learning. And that's like a really cool way to think of it. Failure is scary, but the one thing that I've been learning like since forever is that you will encounter failure. There's absolutely no way, especially when you're on your way to something, you have a goal and you're like, I want to get there, you are going to encounter failure. It's impossible to not fail. And I feel like when you fail at something, it sort of gives you that gratification when you eventually get that thing. Denzel Washington once said, if you're gonna fail big. And that's something crazy and amazing to think about. Like, okay, actually failure forces you to think about what you really, really want. I remember last year, I failed at something, and something that I really cared about, by the way, and it really forced me to think about what I really, really want. Like, am I prepared to fail at something so that I care about this, but do I potentially care more about something else? Am I prepared to fail, at that thing more than I am at this? So failure hurts, but it forces you to think about what you really, really want. And I just hate how our education system sort of instills in us that, failure is bad. But failure prepares you, because I feel like the more you fail, the more you sort of want that thing. You're like, I want it more. And I wish it was more lenient towards failure. Like I'm glad, we don't get murd anymore, or people who are still in high school and primary don't get murd anymore. But when you used to fail and you just like, don't do that, don't do it. Instead of encouraging, like, okay, no, you failed, but like, try again. So yeah, no, failure should know your name, and when it hears that, oh, Mapasika is coming, it should be like, runs away. So yeah, go out there and fail. Be awesome. I love you guys. This has been a political quickie. I'll see you guys next week. Use your talent to serve humanity.